Every breath you take right now may exist because of ancient mushrooms. 400 million years ago there were no trees on Earth, no grass and no forests. Only massive mushrooms reaching 8 meters tall, standing like towers across empty land. They dominated the planet for 50 million years. Then they vanished entirely. Scientists spent a full 100 years before admitting a shocking truth. The nutrients released after these mushrooms decayed, reshaped the soil of the entire planet. Without them there would be no forests. Without forests there would be no abundant oxygen. Without oxygen there would be no us today. We often believe we are the final result of evolution. But maybe we are only an unintended byproduct of mushrooms. Even more unsettling, they may have never truly disappeared. Beneath the soil under your feet, hundreds of millions of fungal threads quietly spread at every moment, as if they are still waiting for the right time. Scientists gave this ancient organism a name, prototaxites, but that name itself came from a massive misunderstanding lasting a century. In 1859, Canadian paleontologist John William Dawson discovered the first fossil in Gaspé Bay, Quebec. With just one glance, he declared it an ancient conifer. Its cylindrical body and ring-like patterns looked exactly like wood, but problems appeared immediately. In that distant geological era, true trees had not yet evolved. It would be like finding a smartphone in an ancient royal tomb. It made no logical sense. Yet Dawson refused to admit he was wrong. The academic world argued for more than a century. Some said it was giant sea algae washed inland. Others believed it was a hybrid of fungus and algae. Some even suggested admitting we simply did not know what it was. This debate stretched from the Victorian era into the 21st century. Until 2007, University of Chicago paleobotanist Kevin Boyce used carbon isotope analysis to finally end the argument. He discovered that prototaxites showed extreme variation in carbon isotope ratios, meaning it did not survive through photosynthesis. Instead, like fungi, it lived by breaking down decaying organic matter. The conclusion was clear. This thing was a mushroom, a giant mushroom 8 meters tall. But the story does not end here. The real shock is just beginning. Let us rewind to the early Devonian period 400 million years ago to glimpse a world ruled by mushrooms. A place no human could survive for 3 minutes. Looking around, there is endless gray-brown wasteland. The air is hot and humid. Carbon dioxide levels are 10 times higher than today. Every breath feels like swallowing warm, thick soup. The greenhouse effect is near collapse. The world is silent. No birds, since they will appear much later. No mammals either. The most threatening land creatures are crawling scorpions. Yet, in this stillness, something is rising wildly toward the sky. 8-meter-tall cylinders, nearly 1 meter in diameter. No branches, no leaves, just standing there. In a world where plants barely cling to the ground, they form the absolute skyline. Imagine the scene, like modern Manhattan skyscrapers. Except 400 million years ago they were alive. Fleshy living towers woven from countless filaments. For 50 million years, nothing could challenge their height. They were the first unquestioned rulers of land. How did they dominate Earth? Was it size alone? No, the key was monopoly. Their true weapon was never the 8-meter pillar above ground, but the underground fungal network stretching for kilometers. A greedy straw-like system, locking down water and nutrients across vast areas. While early plants fought for tiny patches of land, prototaxites had already consumed everything. Scientists even found it could manage resources, storing nutrients in good times, and releasing them during dry seasons. More importantly, it did not rely on sunlight. Early plants depended on photosynthesis, living at the mercy of the sky. Prototaxites chose a harsher path. It fed on decay. Algae, moss, bacteria, all decaying matter. Anything breaking down became fuel. This meant it never had to compete for sunlight where decay existed. It could grow, but the most chilling discovery was its quiet partnership with insects. Fossils show its body was filled with tunnels and cavities, like hollowed cheese. These were not random decay, but carefully carved by early arthropods. Imagine this, an 8-meter-tall living apartment, deadly heat and radiation outside, but stable moist comfort inside. Insects dig tunnels, build chambers and multiply. And prototaxites does not resist. It grows around the tunnels, absorbing insect waste as nutrients. This was the earliest cross-species housing deal. Insects gained shelter. Prototaxites gained moving fertilizer. In a hostile ancient world, this symbiosis was unbeatable. But all rulers fall, because evolution follows survival of the fittest. Prototaxites never expected the fertile soil it created would give rise to its own downfall. Around 350 million years ago, the first true trees arrived with woody stems and real leaves. A final battle between photosynthesis and decay began. Trees did not wait for decay. With sunlight and water, they multiplied endlessly. In only years, a tree reached heights that took prototaxites decades. More deadly trees worked in groups. They appeared in forests. Canopies blocked the light. Roots strangled the ground, claiming every drop of water. Fossils show a brutal decline. Bodies shrinking, territory collapsing. The former ruler was pushed back without resistance by forests with no way to respond. By 300 million years ago, the last fossils vanished. A 50 million year dynasty ended quietly, without a trace. At this point the story seems settled. Just a giant mushroom, outpaced by trees. If the video ended here, it would only be science education. But what comes next is the truly unsettling truth. Remember the 2007 conclusion that it was a fungus. In March 2025, University of Edinburgh scientist Corentin Laurent changed everything, shaking the entire field. He studied a perfectly preserved fragment dated to 407 million years ago. Under a microscope, he found no chitin. All fungi require chitin in cell walls. This is basic biology. But prototaxites had none. Instead, he found lignin-like compounds. What does this mean? Listen carefully. This is the part that chills scientists. Prototaxites is not a fungus and not a plant. And not an animal. It belongs to no known branch of life. Laurent wrote words that left scientists silent. It is best classified as an unknown and fully extinct group of eukaryotes. In simple terms, a lost fifth kingdom of life. The history of life on Earth is not just animals, plants and fungi. Earth once ran a wild experiment, creating a completely independent form of life, with a different structure and path. It lasted 50 million years, built a global ecosystem, and may have had a kind of collective intelligence. Is that unsettling? Evolution is often called a tree, but prototaxites suggests evolution may be a maze. Many paths end abruptly. If conditions were slightly different, if trees appeared later, then the rulers of Earth today might not be oxygen-breathing life forms. Maybe we would see a completely different world, towering flesh structures across the land, and intelligent life crawling through internal tunnels. Prototaxites was a grand but failed experiment. History gave it no second chance. It vanished completely, leaving no descendants. Even the word mushroom is a misunderstanding imposed by humans. It arrived alone, ruled for 50 million years, and left alone. So next time you walk through a forest and notice small mushrooms by your feet, offer them a moment of respect, because deep in their genetic memory may lie a vast secret about a world of giants, and the soil beneath you is the final silent legacy of that lost civilization. Follow me to explore a world beyond ordinary understanding.